Bitcoin is finally breaking out of this huge consolidation pattern on the 4-hour time frame. We can expect a little bit more bullishness coming into the market in the coming days. However, we are also at big resistance on the daily time frame, so I will tell you what is going to happen for Bitcoin today. We also have some important macroeconomic news coming in today, but about that later in the video. I'm also going to discuss the two altcoins Ethereum and Vechain, so watch this video all the way to the end, like this video, and let's dive right into the charts. In my video of yesterday, I was talking about this huge consolidation phase for Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, and I was discussing this in my video and on my socials that we are going to see a break later that day. And eventually we broke out yesterday and we saw a huge pump to the top side, just like I expected. And after this bullish break, we can now wait for a retracement back to this previous resistance to turn it into support, and from there you can enter the market in a long and aim for higher targets. And the top side of this formation will be the breakout target for Bitcoin, and that will be around the $67,000, so there's still a lot of room for increasement. And from the point of breakout and retest, you can maybe make a more than 12% gain, so that is an insane trade to make, of course. But first, we have to wait for this retest of this previous resistance to turn it into support, and from there you can aim for higher targets. But the bullish break is now confirmed, so this is looking very bullish for Bitcoin. However, on the daily chart, we can see this big horizontal level is coming into play, and we're currently at big resistance. And in the past we saw a lot of resistance and support coming into the market, and yeah, currently we are back at this resistance, so this will be the first big resistance for Bitcoin to break. And if we're breaking it to the top side, I expect that we're going to see a retest of this resistance to turn it into support, and from there we can create more bullish price action to the top side and continue the bullish momentum. But for now we have to see if Bitcoin can even break this horizontal level, because we could also see a little bit of a rejection and then we have to aim for lower prices. So this is a very important level to watch for Bitcoin. And of course you can maybe enter the market here in a short, because we are at this beautiful resistance. But if Bitcoin can break this level and confirm a daily candle close above this level, we can confirm the breakout, and then we have to wait for a retest of this previous resistance to turn it into support. This will be the bullish scenario for Bitcoin playing out, but we can also see a bearish scenario, and that will be that we are going to see a rejection from this level. And yesterday we had another positive day for the Bitcoin ETFs. We saw an inflow of $39 million. That is an insane inflow, of course, again. And we saw that BlackRock, Fidelity, and the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF were buying in for the Bitcoin ETF yesterday, and Grayscale was again selling. And I believe that we are at the beginning of a spike to the top side, just like we saw 3 times already in the past. So let's see if we can maybe see a spike to the top side, and that will be, of course, having a very bullish effect on the price of Bitcoin. And also today I expect that we're going to see a huge volatile day for Bitcoin and also the stock market, because there's a lot of inflation data coming in. We are going to see the inflation data of Great Britain, and also the US CPI core inflation is coming into the markets. So this could have a very bullish effect, but also a bearish effect on the price of Bitcoin, of course. But the previous inflation rate was 3.3%, and we are expecting also a 3.3%. So if we're coming in closer than this number, we are going to see a huge pump, and it could also maybe speed up the decision about the rate hike, and that could also have a very bullish effect on the market, and that will be in September during the next FOMC meeting. And another chart on this daily time frame for Bitcoin. We can see that we are currently at this big resistance level, and yeah, we could maybe see the bearish scenario playing out, and that we can come back to this first big support around the $58,000. But if the bullish scenario play out, we will see a break of this level, a retest of this resistance, turn it into support, and then we can aim for higher targets. And then the first big resistance will be around the $64,000, so we could maybe see a very big pump afterwards if you break this level. So we have to be a little bit patient that Bitcoin is going to break this first big horizontal level, and then we can see more bullish continuation to the top side. But of course we can also see a bearish scenario play out, and that we can come back to the $58,000. And Bitcoin has been in this broadening wedge on the daily time frame since the beginning of March, and we are now in this huge consolidation phase. And Bitcoin is currently in the middle side of this broadening wedge. So let's see if Bitcoin can maybe create more topside momentum, come back to this resistance on the top side, and eventually we want to see a breakout of this topside resistance, turn it into support, and then from there we can aim for high targets. And this last big resistance for Bitcoin will be around this horizontal level, and that will be around the $72,000. But of course there's also a bearish scenario for Bitcoin that could play out, and that we're going to come back all the way to this lower side support. And yeah, then we have to aim for levels around the $51,000 or maybe even lower. So for now we are in the middle stages of this broadening wedge. So it's either going to see a 50-50% that we're going to see more upside, or 50% that we're going to see more downside. And let me know in the comments what you think. Are we going to visit this topside resistance first, or are we going to visit this downside support first? And another very interesting chart is this Bitcoin bull flag on the weekly time frame. We can see this beautiful run up to the topside, and now we're in this consolidation phase since the beginning of March. And last week we saw a beautiful weekly candle because we went all the way down. We created a huge wick to the downside, and we closed this weekly candle in the green. So that's very bullish. And now we can see a little bit more upside in the beginning of this week. And let's see if Bitcoin can aim for this higher side resistance, force a break to the top side. And yeah, from there, if we break to the top side, we can maybe see this next exponential move. And the breakout target of this bull flag formation is the $108,000. So that is insane, of course. But of course, that's still a long road from here. For now, it's looking very bullish because we can see a bounce from this lower side support. And that is exactly what we wanted to see. So let's see if Bitcoin can come back to this top side resistance and force a break to the top side. And this news article is one of the most interesting articles I've seen in a while. This article is from this morning, and we can see Goldman Sachs holds over 400 million in Bitcoin ETFs. And Goldman Sachs is one of the biggest banks in the world, so this is looking very bullish. And earlier they said, of course, we are not believers in crypto, and eventually they are turning bullish, and that's exactly what you want to see. And I think everyone in the world will eventually turn bullish on Bitcoin because you have to understand Bitcoin. So first they fight you, and then they will join you. So the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Ethereum. We saw Ethereum was in this topside consolidation before the ETF went live. And after the ETF went live, we saw a huge dump, also created by the dump of Bitcoin, of course. We came all the way to this lower side support. And I've been telling you that you should have been buying here at this green box of accumulation. And that's exactly what I did. And a lot of my followers also did buy here in this place. And from this place, you could already have made more than a 20% increase on your trade. So that is an insane trade, of course. Yeah, I see a lot of DMs of people. They are texting me that they have made a successful trade on Ethereum. So that's beautiful to see. But for now, I'm aiming for this big resistance on the daily time frame for Ethereum first. And at this resistance, I'm also going to take a little bit of my profits in. Because in the past, we can see a lot of support and resistance coming into the market here. So if Ethereum comes back to this level, I'm going to take profits. And of course, I'm not going to sell everything at once, because we could also maybe see a breakthrough of this level, and then you still want to hold a little bit of ETH. But there is also a bear scenario I'm aiming for, and that of course is that we're going to see a rejection from this point. And then you want to take profits at this place, because if Ethereum is coming back down, you took a little bit of your profits and you can reinvest them at lower levels, and then you generate more Ethereum. So if Ethereum is going to break this first big resistance on the daily time frame, the next big resistance will be around the $3,300. And yeah, this resistance is around the $2,900. So maybe you can already place a little bit of limits orders, so you are prepared for what's coming next. And yesterday the Ethereum ETF also saw a very bullish day, because we saw a net inflow of more than 24 million, and that is insane. And we can see that BlackRock is buying for more than 49 million, so that is beautiful to see, of course. Grayscale is also a little bit selling their portion of Ethereum, so that's nothing to worry about. And Ethereum is slowly turning green, because I think Grayscale is done selling their Ethereum like crazy, because in the beginning we saw huge numbers coming into the market and they were selling like crazy. And now the selling pressure of Grayscale is a little bit of cooling off, and we can see other Ethereum ETFs are buying into the market. So that could have a very positive effect on the price of Ethereum in the long term. But in the short term, I'm looking at this first big resistance of the $2,900, and that is my first take profit place for Ethereum. Another very interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Vechain. We can see a lot of interesting support coming into the market, and we bounce from the support to the top side. And we can also see this downward sloping trendline resistance. We want to see this resistance level coming into play again, and we want to visit this resistance level. And of course, eventually we want to see a breakout of this level, retest this resistance as support, and from there we can aim for higher targets. And if Vechain breaks out bullish, this will be the first big resistance on the daily time frame, because we can also see a lot of interesting support and resistance coming into the market. So this could be a very good place to take your profits if you bought at these lows. And the breakout target of this formation will be the top side of the formation, and that will be around the 5 cents. And from the place where we are now, it's more than a 100% increase, so that is an insane, of course. So we have to be a little bit patient that Vechain is coming back to this resistance and maybe force a break to the top side. But for now, it's looking a little bit more bullish than bearish, because we are seeing a bounce from this support level, and let's see if we can come back to this resistance level in the coming days. Please give this video a like if you find this video useful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.